The most famous shark attack in history was set on a California beach. The movie put a whole country out of the water, and it did it with an animal that lives right now in enormous numbers off the coast of this state. California is the great white shark capital of the planet. The largest predatory fish on Earth patrols the water from the Channel Islands to the northern kelp beds, 20 feet long, 4,000 pounds, close enough to shore that the juveniles hunt in the shallows where the surfers sit. And here is what that animal has actually done. Since 1950, across 75 years, in the shark capital of the world, there have been around 200 shark encounters in California and roughly 15 deaths. Fewer than one death every 4 years. In the water everyone is afraid of. From the animal the whole world was taught to fear. That is the pattern in this state, and it runs deeper than the shark. California is the second deadliest state in America for animal-caused death, behind only Texas, with nearly 300 people killed by animals in 2 decades. It is home to the great white, the mountain lion, the rattlesnake, the whole cast of things that look like death. And almost none of the people who die in this state are killed by any of them. The animals that actually kill Californians are quiet. Some of them you would photograph without a second thought. One of them is asleep in 10 million living rooms right now. So we are going to run this list backwards. We are going to start with the animals you are afraid of, the ones on the nature documentaries and the warning signs, and we are going to see how rarely they touch a human being at all. And then, around the middle, the ground is going to shift, and the animals that actually fill the deadliest morgue on the West Coast are going to start showing up, one after another, and every one of them is quieter than the last. By number 1, you may look at your own life a little differently. Before we go further, if you want more of these, the subscribe button is right there and it costs you nothing. And do something for me while the list runs. Tell me where you are watching from, the state and the county or the coast or the range if you want to name it. I read them. It is the best map I have of how far this country reaches. Number 8. The great white shark. We start in the water, because that is where the fear starts. The great white, Carcharodon carcharias, reaches lengths over 20 feet and weights over 4,000 pounds. It is warm-blooded, faster than anything a swimmer could do about it, and equipped with senses that read a single drop of blood across a swimming pool of seawater. California's coast is one of the most reliable places on Earth to find one, because California's coast is one of the most reliable places on Earth to find what they eat. The seals and the sea lions hauled out on the rocks from the Farallones to the Channel Islands. Every Californian who has ever paddled out past the break has felt it. The water goes dark under the board and something in the back of the brain says the word. Now the number. According to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, since 1950, there have been a little over 200 shark encounters of all kinds in California waters, and 15 of them were fatal. Every one of those 15 deaths involved a white shark. 15 in 75 years, along the entire 1,200-mile coast of the most populous state in the country. A Stanford study put the odds of a shark attack in California at 1 in 17 million. You are more than 1,000 times more likely to drown on the same beach than to be killed by the animal you are scanning the water for. The great white opens this list because it is the purest version of the fear. It is the animal from the movie that was set on this coast. It is the fin every swimmer pictures. And in 3/4 of a century, in the shark capital of the world, it has killed 15 people. The animal that kills you in California is not the one in the water. Number 7. The mountain lion. Come out of the water and up into the hills, and you meet the fear on land. There are roughly 4,500 mountain lions in California. A big male runs 150 pounds, can take a deer several times its weight, runs 50 miles an hour, and kills the way its kind has always killed, a single bite to the back of the neck, the canines driven between the vertebrae into the spine. It is stealth made into an animal. It sees you on nearly every occasion, long before you would ever see it, and it decides you are not worth the trouble, and it is gone. And you never knew it was there, nearly always. On the 23rd of March, 2024, in the Sierra foothills near Georgetown in El Dorado County, two brothers went out looking for shed deer antlers. Talon Brooks was 21. His brother Wyatt was 18. A young mountain lion came toward them out of the brush, closer than 10 yards, and did not stop the way the stories promise. Wyatt fell, and the lion pounced on him, and he pushed it off, and it raked his face, and then it turned to his brother. It took Talon by the neck and dragged him into the brush. Wyatt, badly injured, managed to reach a phone and call for help. When the deputies arrived 15 minutes later, his brother was gone. It was the first fatal mountain lion attack in California in roughly 2 decades. That is the entry. Not that the lion is safe, it is not. It is that across a state of 40 million people and 4,500 lions, a fatal attack is a once-in-20 years event. And when it comes, it makes statewide news for days precisely because of how rare it is. Talon Brooks is on this list because his death was a genuine tragedy and a genuine outlier, the exception that measures the rule. The animal that kills you in California is almost never this one either. Number 6. The rattlesnake. This is the last of the animals you were raised to fear, and the one that comes closest to earning it. Closest, not close. California holds several species of rattlesnake, and the one that raises the hair on a herpetologist's neck is the Mojave green, whose venom carries a neurotoxic component that goes after the nervous system in a way most rattlesnake venom does not. The western diamondback, the sidewinder, the speckled and red diamond and Pacific rattlesnakes fill out the desert and the chaparral and the dry foothills across most of the state. They are genuinely dangerous. A serious envenomation is a medical emergency, and the Mojave green can put a person in real trouble fast. And they almost never kill anyone. Across the entire United States, 7,000 to 8,000 people are bitten by venomous snakes every year, and on average 5 of them die. 5 in the whole country. In California, deaths are a fraction of that, most years 0 or 1. And when they happen, the bite very often came because someone reached for the snake, tried to move it, tried to kill it, or handled it on purpose. The snake does not hunt you. It wants to be left alone under the rock, and it gives you a warning most animals never would. A rattle that means turn around, and the people it kills are overwhelmingly the ones who did not. 3 entries now: the shark, the lion, the snake. The 3 faces of California fear. Between them, in an average year, they kill barely more than 1 person in the entire state. So if it is not the jaws, and it is not the claws, and it is not the venom, then what is filling the 2nd deadliest morgue in the country? Here is where the ground shifts. Number 5. The black bear. Nobody in California was afraid of the black bear. That is exactly why it is on this list. There are somewhere between 60 and 80,000 black bears in California now, a population that has more than tripled since the 1980s. They are in the Sierra Nevada, the coastal ranges, the forests north and east, and increasingly they are in town, at the trash bins, in the culverts, on the porches, in the news. The state has so many that a cub turned up on a street corner in northwest Fresno. And every Californian has been told the same comfortable thing about them. Black bears are timid. Black bears run. A black bear will never really hurt you. For 100 years of recorded history in California, that was true. No black bear had ever killed a person in the state. Not once. Then came Patrice Miller. She was 71 years old, and she lived in Downeyville, a small town in the Sierra Nevada, about 2 hours northeast of Sacramento, right, in the words of the state's own biologist, in the middle of where bears like to be. There was a particular black bear that had been trying to get into her home for months. She had a name for it. She called it Big Bastard. She had fought it. She had once hit a bear to drive it out of her house. Weeks before the end, she woke to find a bear's arm reaching through a cracked window. She had installed steel bars across the glass. In September, she was offered a permit to have the bear killed, and she turned it down because she wanted it gone, not dead. On the 8th of November 2024, a sheriff's deputy went to her home for a welfare check because a grocery store clerk had not seen her in days. He found the door broken and scat on the porch. Inside, he found what was left of Patrice Miller and a bear that had been there for days. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife confirmed it. It was the first documented fatal black bear attack on a human being in the recorded history of the state. "It's a big deal," the department spokesman said. "That doesn't happen in California. It had just happened in California." She fed her cats on the porch. She kept a compost pile and a vegetable garden and did not always take the trash out right away. And every one of those things, the biologist said, may have taught the bear that her house was food. The animal that killed her was not a monster from the wilderness. It was a neighborhood bear in a bear town that had stopped being afraid, in a state that had stopped being afraid of it. Number 4. The Africanized bee. They reached California in the 1990s, and they turned the most ordinary insect in the state into something that kills. An Africanized honeybee carries the same venom as the gentle European honeybee, drop for drop. The difference is the response. Disturb a European hive, and a handful come out. Disturb an Africanized hive, and the whole colony comes, thousands of them, and they pursue for a quarter mile, and they do not stop when you stop. They have colonized the southern half of the state, and they will build in a wall, a water meter, an old tire, a shed, anywhere quiet and hollow. A lawnmower will set them off. A person walking past at the wrong moment will set them off. California has recorded human deaths from these bees. The pattern is always the same, and it is never the pattern people expect. There is no charge, no roar, no warning. There is an ordinary yard on an ordinary afternoon, and a sound that becomes a cloud, and a person who ran but could not run far enough. For someone with an allergy, a handful of stings is a mortal event. For everyone else, it is the number that does it. Hundreds of stings, thousands, a volume of venom that shuts the body down. It is the exact opposite of the shark. No fin, no music, no fear. Just the hum in the wall that nobody thought about until it was already in the air. Number 3. The deer. You would not put this animal on a list of killers. That is the mistake. California is not the worst state for this, and it is worth being honest about that. Because the deer here are spread differently and the roads run differently, California actually ranks near the bottom of the country for the odds of hitting one, 49th of 50. But near the bottom of a nation with 2 million deer collisions a year is still more than 20,000 collisions in this state every year, and the ones that kill are not gentle. A deer weighs up to 300 pounds. and it does the thing every driver has seen, freezing in the headlights on a 2-lane mountain road at dusk, on the winding grades of the Sierra and the coastal ranges where the trees come down to the shoulder and there is nowhere to go. It comes through the windshield, or the driver swerves and the car goes off the grade or into the oncoming lane. Fall is the worst of it, the rut, when the bucks lose their caution and move at all hours. And the same rule that every driver half knows is the one that saves lives. If you see one cross, more are coming. Slow down. Do not swerve. The people who die hitting deer are very often the ones who wrenched the wheel to miss it. The deer does not hunt anyone. It is the most harmless animal on this list. It kills on the mountain road at the moment the light goes, and it kills the people who never thought of it as dangerous at all. Number 2. The domestic dog. Here is the animal that should end the argument. Of every animal in California, wild or otherwise, the one that kills the most people is not the shark, or the lion, or the bear, or the snake, or the bee. It is the dog. And this is not close, and it is not a national footnote. California leads the entire United States in fatal dog attacks. The single deadliest animal in the second deadliest animal state in the country is the one asleep on 10 million couches, the one that greets the children at the door, the one nobody on earth would put on a list of predators. It is the purest form of the whole reversal. Every other animal on this list, you had to go find. You had to paddle out past the break, or hike into the foothills, or drive the mountain grade, or step on the mound. The dog is already inside the house. The proximity that kills people in this state, the closeness that the shark and the lion and the bear can never quite achieve because we keep our distance from them, the dog has completely, permanently, by our own invitation. We brought this one all the way in. We named it. We let it sleep on the bed. And in California, more than in any other state in the Union, it is the animal that kills us. The fangs and the claws in the hills and the water were never the danger. The danger walked in the front door a long time ago, and we called it family. Number 1. The one we brought close. Here is the truth. This whole list has been walking toward. California did not become the second deadliest animal state in America because its animals are the most dangerous. They are not. The grizzly that could actually rule this landscape has been extinct here for 100 years, killed off so completely that it survives only on the flag. The mountain lions kill once in a generation. The sharks kill once in 4 years. The rattlesnakes barely kill at all. California ranks second in the country for animal death for a reason that has nothing to do with teeth and everything to do with arithmetic. 40 million people. More people, packed closer to more wild land and more animals and more of their own dogs than almost anywhere else in the nation. And when you press that many lives up against that much life, the thing that kills you is almost never the animal you feared. It is the animal you stopped seeing. Patrice Miller died in a bear town from a bear she had named. The deer do their killing on the roads we cut through their winter range. The bees are an aggression we imported and then forgot. And the deadliest animal in the whole state sleeps at the foot of the bed. Every one of these deaths happened at a point of contact, a place where a human life and an animal life had been pressed together, and in almost every case the person had long since stopped watching for the thing that killed them. There is one more piece of this, and it is the oldest irony in the state. California put a grizzly bear on its flag. Then it killed every grizzly it had in about 75 years, down to the last one. And now it argues in its legislature about whether to bring the grizzly back, while it cannot manage the 60,000 black bears it already has, and while its own first fatal black bear attack is still fresh in the record. The state cannot yet hold the predators it has left. That is the answer to whether it is ready for the one it erased. The fear was always pointed at the wrong thing, not the fin, not the eyes in the brush. The danger was how close we let everything get, and how completely we stopped paying attention. So think about what this list actually was. It was not the shark under the board, or the lion in the manzanita, or the rattlesnake coiled in the shade of the rock. Those are the animals that look like death, and in this state, they almost never are. The second deadliest state in the country does its killing quietly, with the bee in the water meter, the deer on the mountain grade at dusk, the bear that learned a porch was a pantry, and the dog we raised from a pup. Somewhere off the coast tonight, a great white is turning through the dark water under a kelp bed, doing what it has done off this shore for longer than there has been a coast road to watch it from. Somewhere in the Sierra Nevada, a black bear is working the edge of a small town, testing the cans, learning the porches, one broken habit away from the news. And on a flag over a courthouse somewhere in California, a golden bear stands in a patch of green under a single red star, the state's own animal. Extinct for 100 years, still watching over a country it no longer lives in. Watching the way this country has watched since long before there was anyone here to put its picture on a flag, and then wonder where it went.